Hey friends, it's Amber. Welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited about today's video because we're going to do a Q&A. This channel has certainly grown a lot in the past couple of months, and I realized that just by watching my videos, there's probably still a lot that you wonder about me and what I do and why I started this channel. So I thought that this video would be a really good chance to kind of reintroduce ourselves and get to know each other a little bit better. I have about 10 questions that came up a lot that I'm going to answer, but obviously if you have more questions, just drop them in the comments of this video and I'm happy to answer them. I also would love to make these like more regular occurrences, like maybe like a quarterly Q&A or I don't know, something like that. So if you have questions, just always leave them in the comments. I'm always scanning and like pulling them to the side, and we can do these more often. Also, apologies in advance if you can kind of hear the AC in my apartment. It's summer, it's hot. Honestly, we need to normalize hearing air conditioning in the back of videos during the summer because it's just, I hate summer, it's so oppressive. Anyway, I have all of your questions written down here, so I'll probably be looking down a little bit, just FYI, but let's get into it. There were a couple of questions about just me dealing with like quarantine and our new normal, whatever that means. Mostly around travel, because I think a lot of people have found this channel through my first group of Paris vlogs, which I still watch and love because that was the best trip. But a lot of people were asking if I had any travel plans that were canceled because of coronavirus, or when I was planning to travel again after coronavirus, or just travel plans in general. So this fall, I was actually planning on taking a solo trip and spending a couple of days in Edinburgh and a couple of days in Paris, and possibly like checking out like London for a day or two. I really just wanted to do a solo trip because it's something that I've wanted for a long time, but I've always kind of been a little bit nervous and afraid to do. And I felt like this year, I felt like, you know, I traveled internationally twice now. I've traveled domestically a bunch, and I felt comfortable doing that trip. And then of course, literally I was going to book my flights to Edinburgh like the week that everything kind of shut down, and I just knew that this was going to be a little bit more intense than we originally thought. So no, I'm not traveling this year. That trip is not happening in 2020. And to be honest, I don't know when I'm going to get to travel again. I don't know when things are going to be open enough and contained enough to travel freely. I don't know when I'm going to get to travel again. I would love to be able to take a trip next year. I've been to Paris twice now, but I'm at a point where I love that city so much. I would be perfectly happy if I got to go every year while I could, at least for a couple of days. I'd love to still do my Edinburgh, Paris, London trip next year, but I don't know. And honestly, the way the world is looking, if America doesn't get its act together, none of us are going anywhere anyway. Okay, next, a lot of you asked what made me fall in love with reading. Honestly, I've always just been a reader. My grandmother, my dad's mom, was a school teacher, so I learned to read at a pretty young age. I started reading and speaking relatively young, and I always loved it. I think it's because it was just so much a part of like her life, and both of my parents always encouraged me to read. My parents were not like huge on TV. Like I was allowed to watch like PBS and movies, but I wasn't like a TV kid. My sister and I, neither of us were really video game kids. It was either like stay inside, read, like do something like academic, or go outside, and I was definitely not a go outside kid. So I was just always raised and encouraged to read and be curious and like have questions, and the best place to get your questions answered were in books. So it was just kind of natural to me to be a reader. And I just loved books. I loved stories. I loved, like, I had a really active imagination, and I think I thought it was cool that like there were so many different stories out there that you could tell and make up in your head. And I loved writing. I loved words. So for me, it was just kind of, like I said, a natural thing that my parents definitely encouraged in me, and my sister. My sister isn't a huge, my younger sister isn't a huge reader in the same way that I am, but she's also a college student. So I feel like it's almost impossible to be a leisure reader when you are in college, but she does enjoy reading too. So yeah. Someone asked, what is one book that epitomizes childhood for you? I think there are actually two. So I remember the first time The first memory I have of like a big Scholastic book fair, I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade, and I really wanted to buy the Anne of Green Gables chapter book. I don't think I even knew anything about the story, but I was just very drawn to that book. And the teacher at the school told me I couldn't buy it. She said it was too hard and too advanced for me. And I was so upset that she told me instead, like, okay, well, take this Harry Potter book, and if you can finish it, because what the first Harry Potter book is, what, like a little over 200, maybe under 300 pages, and was like, if you can read this book, then maybe you can get that. Granted, should this teacher have done that? No, it's a Scholastic book fair. If I want to spend my money on a book, at least I'm spending my money on a book and not like taking all the money my parents gave me and buying glitter gel pens or something. But she wouldn't let me buy the book. She told me if I could read the first Harry Potter book, then maybe I could read Anne of Green Gables. So I read the first Harry Potter book in like 2 days, and then went back and got Anne of Green Gables from my library. The crazy thing is I didn't actually enjoy the book from what I remember. I haven't reread it since. Obviously I was super, super young. But I just remember that being like the moment where I was like, I don't just want to read the books that other kids in my grade are reading. I want to read whatever books I want. And then I remember my parents getting me a book. This also may have been a Scholastic book. I actually own a copy and read it recently as an adult and still really love it. And that book was Esperanza's Rising. That book for me was just like so essential to my growing up in my childhood. There were a lot of similarities between the way that my life was changing and my family's lives were changing and the way that Esperanza's life in the book changes. And I just love that book. It meant so much to me. The character in the book obviously she's a young Mexican girl, but I think that was the first time I'd read a book with a brown character that wasn't about slavery or civil rights or like Jim Crow South, because before then the other popular books that featured brown characters were like The Watsons Go to Birmingham or things like that. So yeah, that book was definitely an essential reading item in my childhood. Someone asked, what is the creative inspiration behind my videos? Which is so funny to me because I struggle a lot with feeling confident about like the production quality of my videos. I don't think the quality is bad, obviously. I wouldn't put out something that I thought was just like awful. But I do constantly compare myself to other creators who have been doing this longer, who have more resources, who are just so established on the platform, which is not productive and not something I should be doing, but it's, you know, it's natural. I can't help it. So some people who inspire me on YouTube, I love Rowena Sai. I think her videos are great and I love the way that she edits and produces her content. I love Lavender. I love, oh my gosh, Rachel Wynn from That Chic. I love Caitlin's Corner. She does a lot of bullet journal and productivity type videos. I love Plan for Productivity. She does great videos. And then some other like booktubers. I love Bow Ties and Books, Jessie. Their videos are incredible. Like, oh, the way that Jessie edits is just like, it's great. They are just so thoughtful and so like into the details, and I think that's what makes their videos so entertaining and like fun to watch, even if it's not a video that like has a ton of like thematic element. It could be just a book haul, but they just do a great job. So yes, love Jessie's channel. Who else am I loving? Who inspires my content? Books and Lala, always. Books and Lala's editing, I know it takes her hours to edit any video, no matter how like detailed or simplistic it seems. I know you could just tell she puts so much work and thought into all of her videos. There are so many more. I'll link a ton of YouTubers who inspire me and whose content I enjoy that I think you guys should check out as well. But yeah, I think I'm still struggling to see my content for what it is. I was actually just talking to my friend Kaylee, who's also a really good content creator and does a great job of editing her videos, about this like comparison trap and not feeling like always not celebrating my content enough. So I appreciate all of you who said that, because it definitely is well received. A few of you asked like where I buy clothes and where I find style inspiration, which also is hilarious to me because out of my like larger group of friends, I would definitely not categorize myself as like the fashion girl, and I never really have been. my like philosophy around clothes is you should feel good, you should be comfortable, and you should be able to live your life in it. And if I can find items of clothing that do those three things for me, I will buy it and wear it. I hate trying on clothes, even pre-COVID. I wonder if dressing rooms are ever going to be a thing again. Wow. But even before that, I hate going into a dressing room with like 30 things and having to try them on. I don't know why a dressing room is 50 degrees hotter than the rest of a store, but like I just can't do it. So once I find a store, I know their cuts, I know how their clothes wear on my body, I'll buy them over and over and over and over again. Like jeans, I love the universal thread jeans that Target sells. I think they fit plus size bodies really, really well. They get like the different shapes and curves of a body, so I own a couple of pairs of those. I shop at Old Navy a lot because I think they do a good job with like casual wear and then like professional wear, so if you need dress pants and things like that. And they have a really nice extended size range. This dress is from Target. This shirt my friend made. Yeah. ASOS, I have ordered a couple of things from ASOS. I have some dresses and some jeans that I really like from ASOS. But really, I'm just inspired by, like I said, those three things. Do I feel like I look good? Do I feel comfortable? And can I live my life in it? If we can check those boxes, I will buy it. If I had to pick like style icons, people who I look to for styling advice or like tips or fashion advice, the Kellys, Kelly Augustine and Kelly B. I Got Dressed, those two bloggers, they are both also YouTubers, so I will link below. Their content is one just chef's kiss, but also I really find both of their styles to be like kind of not opposite to me, but inspiring to me. Kelly B, she wears a lot more color and a lot more patterns than I do. I'm definitely like a neutral girl. Like this like little cheetah thing we have going is probably the most dramatic pattern you'll ever catch me in. I wear a lot of beige, black, gray, olive green, earth tones because I'm just drawn to those color palettes. But she always reminds me that you can mix even neutral tones together and you don't always have to be so obvious in how you pair things together. And then Kelly Augustine, I feel like she does a great job of finding great accessories and other great ways that you can really accentuate a plus size body without feeling like you're overdoing it or playing into like plus size fashion tropes. So both of the Kellys are my go-tos. A few people asked how I stay motivated and how I've still been getting stuff done, and to be honest, I haven't been super motivated lately. There was definitely a drop off in videos for a while. I still have like some of those IG live convos I need to upload, so I'm definitely behind. And that is normal. Everyone is a little bit behind. We've been dealing with this new normal, this quarantine situation, and all of us are having to adjust. So first and foremost, it's just like acknowledge that this is hard, it's different, and we shouldn't be operating like we normally would. It makes sense that you're a little bit less motivated than you normally would be. We all are. And we're all just trying to do our best. So that's that. One thing that has been helpful to me though is just trying to stick to somewhat regular routines, whether that's going to bed and waking up at the same time, or making meals and having meals at the same time, having something to look forward to at the end of every week. Just doing those small things to help bring a little bit of a semblance of normalcy and comfort into your weeks when everything is so uncertain. I think that's really helpful and will help motivate you to push through the other times where you have to get things done, whether it's for work or just like personal things you have to get done, but just aren't feeling the vibe, aren't feeling just like the mood, because the news has been dark. June was a heavy month for so many reasons, and it's so important. It's more important to take care of yourself and figure out what's best for you as we operate through this time than it is to like check a million things off of your to-do list. So I think that was a long way of saying routine helps and just do your best. Someone asked, what is my personality type? Like if I've taken the Myers-Briggs or the Enneagram. I have taken the Enneagram. I don't remember what my results were. I took it a while ago. I think I was a 3-wing something. I don't remember, but I would love to retake the Enneagram because every time I see people sharing insights from it, I don't know, it just seems like it has a different level of detail than other personality tests I've seen. I will say when it comes to personality tests, I like them. I think that they're good for a lot of things, but I treat them the same way I treat like my horoscope. I don't think they should be like the guiding factor of your life. Like you should not apply for a job because you got a result on a personality test and you don't think you'll work with the team. Like, use it for what it is, but don't let it be your end all be all. I also took the Myers-Briggs, yeah, and I took that a long time ago, but I've retaken it and got the same result, and it came out that I was an INFJ, and from what I've read, that is pretty accurate. I got a few questions about my book club, which makes sense because I realized that even though all of the live shows are hosted on my channel, I've done a terrible job of talking about my book club on this channel, so let's talk about book club. I launched my book club in February of last year just as a way to help people who wanted to read from diverse authors and find new titles or backlist titles, read kind of in the style that I really like to read in, discover those books. So far we've read over the past year or so 4 or 5 books, and they've all been really great. And after we read a book, it's totally self-paced. There aren't chapter check-ins. I just set a date for a live show, so if you finish the book by the date of that live show, you can come and we chat about the book. It's full of spoilers, so if you watch any of the live show discussion videos on my channel, please know that it is full of spoilers for whatever book we are discussing. For me, it's been a challenge, I'll be honest, to run book club just because I'm such a mood reader, and it's so hard for me to pick a book that we're all going to read if I know I'm not going to read the book because I have to lead the discussion on the book. So that's why books have been a little bit more spaced out than I originally thought they would be. I will leave a link to where you can sign up. All you have to do to sign up for book club is make sure you get the emails and join the Facebook group. That's it. It's super simple. I wanted it to be easy, low lift, and a stress-free way to actively participate in a book club. It's all virtual, so there's no meetup, so everything is very safe. No worries about that. Ooh, this is a good question. What is a hobby that you wish you could do more of? I relate so deeply to that meme that was going around that said that millennials take all of their hobbies and then ruin them by monetizing them. I'm definitely that millennial. Random fun fact, so one of my best friends, we've been best friends since 7th grade. She and I met at knitting club. No one else wanted to go to knitting club, and we decided to go together, and we've literally been best friends ever since. But neither of us ever actually finished the projects that we started in knitting club. We were learning to make a scarf, and we learned how to knit. We had it down, but we never learned how to end it, which is problematic. I think she actually found the original scarf and yarn, and it's literally was just a 5-foot long scarf that she had never ended. So I think we had both said we wanted to learn how to knit, because we definitely have both forgotten, but also just how to finish something and to try to make a knitting project. So I think it would be really cool to get a knit kit and try to teach myself how to knit again. I also think that there's so many of those cool push pin needlepoint things that could be really fun to do, especially because we're going to be in the house and it's something you can kind of pick up and do while you're watching TV or just chilling, listening to music. So I would love to get more into either knitting or a needlepoint situation. I probably should have answered this one earlier because this is something that comes up a lot here and on Instagram when I do Q&As, but a lot of people wonder what I do full-time for work, which is a good question. I think people assume that I don't talk about my 9 to 5 because it's a secret. I just think what I do compared to what I talk about online is just kind of boring. So it's not I'm hiding anything from you guys. It's just not something that I would think would be interesting to talk about. But I went to school for communications. I got a degree in strategic communication with a focus in public relations. So all of my work after graduation has been in communications or marketing. I currently work for the city of Philadelphia, and I am a communications manager for a program through the city. So I do digital content, some press content, website stuff. It's a lot of me just writing words at a computer. I wish it was more interesting. It's interesting to me, obviously, but that's what I do. Saved my favorite question of the bunch for last. This is probably one of my favorite questions I've ever been asked. And that question is, if you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would you choose? And they could be anyone, but they also specified authors or characters. So because I'm extra, I've obviously envisioned a few different dinner parties. So let's set them up. And I get 3 people. So if I had to pick characters, Lila Bard from the Shades of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab, would love to have her at dinner. She's amazing. Another character, Liv from Undercover Bromance, the Bromance book club series. Love her. She's definitely invited. Avery from The Mothers, definitely invited to my dinner party. I think that would be a really interesting dinner party because all of those personalities are so different. There's two really strong ones. Me, I feel like I'm more in the middle, and then Avery is definitely like a little bit more timid. That would be an interesting dinner. Authors, Britt Bennett is like the author of my life. I am obsessed with Britt Bennett, so she's absolutely coming to my dinner. Also, Roxane Gay. I'll read anything that Roxane Gay writes ever, so she's definitely coming to my dinner. And N.K. Jemisin. You guys know I just read the 5th season. I'm obsessed. Like, what another dinner party? I did characters, I did authors, just 3 people in general, alive or dead. Beyonce, Shonda Rhimes, and Maya Angelou. That would be an iconic dinner. Wow, I'm jealous these aren't gonna actually happen. Alright, that's it for all of my questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, if you have any other questions you want me to answer, or if you want these videos to be a little bit more consistent, then just let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you all in the next one.
Is this what you want now? Feels like you're looking for something better.